Hello. Here we are working with processing and we're trying to solve an issue that I've been experiencing. In visualizing my sketches, or at least what I think they should be doing, I have been having some issues with the coordinates and where points should be in reference to other points. And if we look at the screenshot, here we have our Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, and I want to put a bow. But my second triangle, or first, is all out of whack. So in this screenshot, I added a grid to help me with that. Normally what we would do, or how we'd start, is by drawing these things out by hand. And if we look at this photo, here's our initial plan for laying out our ghost, and we reference these points out one by one. So this is a good starting point, and I think the grid is what's supposed to help. Moving on, we go on to the code itself. Just want to show you the final result of what we have and how we would utilize it. So this is a grid, and at any point in the sketch, the console is printing out the XY coordinate. So so let's set this up from scratch. Sweet. So we'll get our setup going. Size, we'll go 400 by 400. And now we need our background. And traditionally, you draw out all your lines one by one, but that is very tedious and time-consuming, and it's not necessary. That's what we have loops for. So we're going to use a for loop to draw all our lines, all our horizontal lines, and all our vertical lines. For integer I equals 0, initializing our integer, we're going to say I is less than the larger number between the height and the width. I increase by 1 every time. So there we are, and this is what we want the for loop to carry out. We want it to draw a line every time from A. Now we need an A. Flow A equal to 25. And this represents our spacing for each line. So for our line is going to go from A times I, comma 0, to width. Width divided by I, comma 0. Now we need those represent our vertical lines, and these are going to, next will represent our vertical lines. 0 comma A times I to 0 comma height divided by I divided by A. We have a reference we could check to make sure everything is as we want it to be as well. And if it isn't, then we'll change it. We'll just act like everything was done smooth as it should have been done. And next we want to add a reader that reads out, that lets us know which coordinates we're at. And this is it. It's pretty simple. It's nothing too complicated, but it's very useful. So let's check it out, make sure that it's what it's supposed to be. So, and then we'll go through it little by little. We'll only go through it line by line. Not even close. We need a stroke. That's not the issue. We do need a stroke though. Stroke 0. Make the background black as well. Make the background white as well. Check again. Oh, background. Haha. Okay. So, in the interest of time, we're just gonna reference our, as Dave puts it, our cooked chicken. So, we're not even close. trying to be fast and hasty. I'm trying to be cool, but clearly I'm not there yet. And but we'll explain it line by line what it is that is going on. This is not expected. For loops looks intact. Print line. Oh, that's not what I wanted either. Jesus Christ. Mouse Y. Flow A size looks good. What? Jesus Christ. You are mess, Jose. Okay, here we are. So this is our final result, and this is what we want. And everything has been generalized. So this works for any, you can just throw this into any sketch and it will give you a grid of whichever spacing you want. So we went with 1 to 25, so these are all 25. Each line is coming out at a interval of 25, so the spacing is 25, but we can change that by simply changing A. So we can make A 10, or we can make it 20. Or you can make it 50 if your size is larger and you don't want to see all of that. And it continues. So it's an interesting tool to have. It's a nice tool to use. It's probably applicable for other things as well. This function here in line 10, we're using max function to choose the larger number between the height and the width, because what we do not, that way we don't have to set this ourselves. Because ideally you want to use the height if the height is larger, and you want to use the width if the width is larger. That way you're not leaving anything out. And then we're utilizing the print line function so that it prints the coordinates for us on the side. So we're going to use this actually to, we're going to see this in practice. I'm just going to copy and paste the code into one of our previous sketches and see how we might be able to use it. Here's our Mrs. Pac-Man. A lot going on here. Mrs. Pac-Man, if you've seen my previous video, may have gone over her. So here we have Pac-Man, opening and closing her mouth, and this is what we had the issue with earlier, the bow. So, the bow and Pac-Man. So let's see how we would add this. So we're gonna go all the way to the bottom because we want this. We don't want any interruption with any of our functions, and we're just gonna copy and paste the background and the line. So we've added the background. Excuse me, not the background. We don't need the background. We just need the line command, and there's an extra. We bought this ourselves. Yeah, cool. Need the mouse X, mouse Y, and we need the grid, the white grid. But this gives me any issues. That's not good. All right, hold on. Should I put this in the beginning? Probably should have checked out where this would have worked the best before. Print line stroke 0. Okay. It's happened to me before, so yeah. It's a shame. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame. So just have so much going on here. Don't want this to interfere with that. Why is Pac-Man blinking now? So as you can see, there are issues on where to place the grid, because you don't want it to interfere with anything else. Let's see what happens over here after this. Oh, jeez, it's so embarrassing. So I already had an A over here, and I tried to create it, and they're giving us issues. So I'm going to create a new variable, call it B. Let's change these A's to B's on our grid. just want to look at the top of the code to see if this stroke is going to give us any issues. Nope, because the stroke gets set back to 0 once it goes over again. Okay. The stroke should be white, not black. God, good. Jesus Christ. Alright, so let's zoom in because that doesn't really do much for us. It does much for us. So let's say we have a really large canvas, 1200 by 600, and we have a really large Pac-Man, because we can make it as big as we want so that we can do as much as we need to. 450, I already did this before, and now we're going to change our starting position for Pac-Man. Half of 1200 is 600, half of 800, 300, 600 is 300. So there's our significantly larger Pac-Man, and in turn, our significantly larger grid. Ta-da! And this is how I'd say that you can use, this is how you would use it. Here I'm going to position the screens so that I can view my console right below the sketch. So this is our tool. It helps us draw as we need to and make our changes as we need to. Below is the console, and it's reading out the coordinates for the mouse. And this can be applied to many other sketches. So let's try that. Let's try applying it to another sketch. Because it kind of didn't go as smoothly as I wanted to. Let's open up our... Let's see if I have my ghost here. I think I do. So this is our generic ghost, and I made it so he can be made as big and as large as possible with a multiplier. So say 3, and so this is going to be cool because actually I haven't added any eyes to him yet. Let's make this 600, and this will be 300, and he should be centered. Cool. Let's move him down a tiny bit. Nice. Okay. So, no, not nice. Take that back. Our multiplier is too large. Cool. Now nice. So this is my ghost. Notice he doesn't have any eyes. I have a more up-to-date version with eyes, but we can do this as I did it earlier. So we have our grid that we want to add. Let's simplify this. We don't need all this complications. Sorry, Mrs. Pac-Man, we no longer need you. Don't say that. So here's what we want to add, and we did have an A over here as well, so thank goodness for changing that to B already. Oh, of course not. So we'll declare the variable B as a global variable in a moment. Here's B. Float B equals, say 25. Sure. So, and lastly, print line, mouse X, mouse Y. Oh, missing a T, excuse me. Haste makes waste, that's what they say. So there's our grid. So now, what I was talking about was using the grid to help us add excuse me, using the grid to add values, to add things to our sketch, helping us visualize things. Because I want to add 2 eyes. I want to add an eye right about here, and I want to add an eye. This is the middle, right about here. So our multiplier is A. And I want to add a general eye, not an eye just in this one drawing. I want to add an eye that can be used in any time that it multiplies. So it has to be a reference has to reference A for its parameters. So A runs from right here in the center to where the cursor is at. So this tells me what A is. So we set A, it was 150, 250 first. So this helps me envision what I want to do with this ellipse, because our circles are going to be, simply put, ellipses. Do I want to go halfway between the center? This is the center here. Do I want to go halfway between the center, which would be A divided by 2, or do I want to go just a little bit less than halfway? I think we'll go halfway, and then we'll make changes as we need to. So let's create some space for these eyes. So we want 2 ellipses. Yeah, 2 ellipses. Ellipse. We want the center of them to be references of A, so we will start with ghost X minus something, right? And ghost Y minus something as well, minus some value which has yet to be determined, and their diameters have to be a reference of A as well. So A right now is 250, which is a really large number, so imagine maybe 0.1 times A. We'll make adjustments as we need to, and the height should be the same. For now, we'll say the height should be the same. We'll change that as we see fit. So for our x-coordinate for our ellipses, we are at the center, and we want to go a little bit to the left. This would be half of A, but maybe we don't. Let's go half of A. Minus 0.5 times A. And this would be minus 0.5 times A. Let's create a fill for this. This should be a white fill for our ghost. And let's see what we got. We don't want any problems with the fill, so we're going to cancel the fill after we go with our... We're going to go no fill after we indicate our ellipse. So what do we got? Oh, wait, what is happening? Unexpected. Why? Oh, A ghost. I'm sorry, this isn't the wrong side. Haste makes waste. You'll see me say, I'll say that all the time. You hear me say that all the time. So there's our circle. It looks kind of funky, right? Yeah, maybe the size should be a little bit bigger. So here's what indicates the eye. Better. Maybe we want larger circles. Maybe we want the circles to be more elliptical. So maybe we want the height to be larger. So let's say 0.4. Yeah, that looks more like a circle, but now it's too far. This grid is telling, I know it's too far. It looks like it's a little bit way off to the side, so I want to move it over. And this is where I use my grid. So I want to move it over to the right. So let's say my x-coordinate is moving too far, so let's go 0.4. My y-coordinate looks pretty good. All right, and now we need another eye. So let's create another one. Let's get in the habit of typing. I am new to this, so 0.4. I should go with the traditional, with the very Dan Schiffman like. Wonder what happened here, what went wrong, but I won't. 0.4 times J. I'm just gonna, right now I'm just writing what's above, and I'm gonna make changes that I need to. But we don't want the circle in the same exact location, so we're gonna add the increment so that it's on the other side of the center, and the y coordinate stays the same. The sizes all stay the same as well. So there are 2 circles that represent the eyes. Let's make them a little bit wider. It's going to be 0.32. This goes a tiny bit. Just playing with the numbers until I get the effect that I want, so it looks nice and pretty. Very pretty. All right. Now what? Now we need some more ellipses. So now we no longer need this. Keep that. We need some more ellipses to represent the pupils. So this would be We want the pupils of the eyes, and where would those be? So they would be, we don't want them centered the same as the eyes, we want them a little bit lower. So now we actually have the benefit of being able to just use the ellipses that we drew before. So Ghost X, they should still be times A, actually, first let's get these down and then we'll make the changes as we get there. And in the interest of time, the professor tells me no copy and pasting. So these should be about the same. The x coordinates are the same, the y coordinates we want to change. So we don't want them to go as high. We don't want the y coordinates to decrease by as much, so here we will change this to 0.4, and we want them to also be smaller. We don't want the same size pupils. He's not on acid. Kidding. So it should be significantly smaller at that. So 0.32 divided by 2, 0.16, say 0.12. 0.12 for the width of these ellipses, and for the height it should be a little bit more than 0.12. 0.16, we go half for that. 0.6165, I said half, right? That's not even half. Alright, just leave it at 0.16. We'll see how it looks, and then we'll make arrangements as we need fit. So there's one. Okay, what's happening? Forgot to change the x coordinate of one of them. So this one should be plus. And voila, there's our ghost with eyes. You can get creative. I can put in a mouth as well, but that will not be for another video. It's kind of simple. If you want, it could be your small assignment. But there's our ghost with eyes. And as I always do, we sign out. Sosa out.